You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello, and welcome to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about pressing through in life. How sometimes, we have to just get through the anger, the frustration, the long days. But how do you do that? What ingredients? What's necessary? Well, passion, trust, education, you name it. Whatever you need to press through these hardships, get to the other side, that's what we want to strive for today. We're going to be taking your calls. Again, that number is 800-333-0001. Now, if you want to hear today's show again, feel free to go to livingfullout.com. All of our episodes are waiting there for you. Plus, you can go to Alexa or the app stores and just check out Living Full Out Radio. We will make sure that you're supported throughout the week. Also, in our next segment, we're going to have Jim Mashear. He was a quality relief pitcher for the Oakland Athletics, but he grew up with clubfoot, and so he really had to go through a lot of surgeries and have determination in order to live his life full out and attain his dreams. So he's going to share that with us. And the thing is I realized pressing through is a big topic, right? Like, how do we do that? And it's really about measuring where we want to be in life and what do we need to do, what resources, what people, what amount of time we might need to get there. Because really, remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? We have to quantify and make sure that as we put ourselves out there trying to attain a goal or dream, we want to make sure that we're not making a mountain too big that we can't climb. And so that's part of the coaching that I want to give you today as we go through the show is what do you need to be able to press through what you're going through right now so that you can smile and laugh and just celebrate life. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hi, thank you for joining us. How can we help you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Nice to hear your voice. Yes, what's going on?
So I play on a soccer team at school, and we got a new coach, and my friend just got cut, and obviously she's really upset, and she's actually one of my best friends, like, off the field. I was wondering how I can, support and help her in the right way, and maybe, try and help her feel like she's still part of the team, even though she may not be, playing soccer with us.
That is a tough moment, right? Because you're still on the team and she's no longer on the team, right? So it's hard to figure out what advice do I give her that might not sound condescending or like I have it, you don't. I get that. What I think you want to look at is what are some of her other positive attributes that she has? What is she good at? And maybe even asking her, what are her dreams and goals, whether it be in a career, having a relationship, maybe hobbies or interests she'd like to do. So if being on this team has been such a large amount of her life, or maybe even getting to this team, she's got to fill that gap, right? And that's the hardest part. When something's taken away from us, like a breakup in a relationship, a loss of a job, getting cut from a team, that loss is this empty spot, and we don't know what to fill it with. So as your friend, you want to help her fill that gap. And so by helping her to figure out, what are those passions that you haven't been able to do because of all the, training and games and practice time. Now you can finally go for those, right? Or what is that career goal that she wants to have? And now she can fill up that gap with internships or volunteer or more classes. So it's really, as being her friend, you want to switch the energy. You want to change her from having this negative mindset of woe's me, or they don't like me, or I'm missing out, to, you know what, that was a great chapter in my life, but clearly it was meant to kind of shut a little bit so that I could go on to other things. And really, as her friend, make those other things exciting. And almost like you wish you had that same amount of time. Now she has the time, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I think if you go with that, you will help her see, hey, maybe this was for the right reasons, or maybe it is time for me to transition. Because if someone's going to go on and they're going to hit like a professional level, then obviously getting cut from a team is something that would be devastating. But if it's something that's just social or, for workout purposes or something like that, there are other ways to be social. There are other ways to get a workout in. And so again, it's just helping her see that this isn't the end all. And then trying to invite her to some of those, team get-togethers that aren't about the sport, but maybe just about the friends. Can you do that?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I have to say your situation is a tough one. But I think if you follow that advice and follow your heart, obviously, you're going to find the right words. Just speak from the heart. You really can't go wrong. Okay?
Right.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in, and we will wish you a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
So I really appreciate that she asked that question, right? Because how do we celebrate our successes if we maybe see somebody else that isn't quite there, somebody who is struggling? And when we consider today's topic of pressing through, well, that's part of it, right? It's making sure that we don't leave other people behind, that we don't just press through and get to the top of the mountain and be like, yeah, I made it. But there's no one there to celebrate it with. You want to bring people with you. And so I want you to think about over the course of the show, what is one challenge that you're facing right now that you really want to overcome? What is something that if you could even press through and achieve one measurable result, you would be ecstatic? And I am right there with you. I want you to know I am raising my hand. I have to admit, I put a lot of time and energy into my career and helping people and coaching and the radio show and so many things that I have to make an effort to make sure that socially I go out and connect with my friends and give them that quality time. I also have made a dedication, I think several times on this show, that I'm going to learn guitar, or actually relearn it since I've been studying it for years. And the thing is how many times do we sit down and say we're going to do something, but when we need to go practice or write or study, we push it off, right? So the thing is that for me, I literally have to sit down and make a conscious effort that 15 minutes a day, I'm going to practice guitar. And it is an effort. On certain days, it would be a lot easier to take a nap, watch TV, you name it. So you have to think about what discipline, what is required in order for you to press through, to get to where you want to be. Now, let's say you're dealing with a health concern, and it's something that is really out of your control. And that can be very scary. I know for myself, being legally blind, there's a lot of days that I've had to press through not being able to see something. There's been times I've been socially somewhere where others have been able to enjoy scenery or being on a boat and people saying, oh, look how beautiful the ocean is, or look at the whales. And I really can't see the whales. I have to press through those moments. I have to kind of listen and experience it through others rather than me sitting there going, gosh, I wish I could see those whales, or, my vision loss. And so you want to think about, as you are dealing with that health issue, how can you still enjoy life? And maybe during this pocket of time, it's looking around and being grateful for what you have. Who is in your life? Who is literally right beside you right now, cheering you on, supporting you? Who is somebody that reaches out to you by voicemail and checks in on you, and maybe you're too tired or you're not feeling well to say hi to them back? Because that's energy to put out. Send them a text, send them an email. Just say, thank you so much. It means so much to me that you are there for me. So little moments like that sometimes is what we learn, what we actually take in when we're dealing with pressing through a situation. Now, I also want you to look ahead outside of the hardship right now that you're going through, whether it be a health issue, whether it be a loss of any kind. Look forward into the future. That's what I focus a lot of my time in when I'm coaching clients, because in the moment, we can be emotional, we can be tired, we can feel hopeless, and also just overwhelmed. But you have to look beyond that. But that light at the end of the tunnel, it is possible. What are you shooting for? What do you envision your life like? because you need that vision. You need to be able to have that near and dear to your heart to get through the dark, difficult moments. So as we go through the show today, as we press through this time in your life, I want you to think about what is that vision? What is that goal for yourself? And then let's put together the steps required to get you there. Okay? And so we're going to be coming back in our next segment with Jim Mashir, quality relief pitcher for Oakland Athletics, talking about having club foot and pressing through. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.go.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.go. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For those caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Sarah, and this is my story.
I'm Ellen, and this is my story.
One night, I was at a bar.
I
was having fun with my friends.
I
had one too many drinks.
I
got behind the wheel to go home.
I got a cab to go home.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road. It happened so quickly, I barely had time to react.
The cabbie barely had time to react.
I swerved.
The cab swerved.
I can't believe it. I hit a guy.
I cannot believe it. The cabbie just missed a guy.
I wish I took a cab.
Thank goodness I took a cab.
You have the choice to save a life. Don't drive buzzed. It's a decision you'll never regret. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Like any parent, I'm concerned about children's health. Many kids don't eat as they should and are at risk for long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But here's good news. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other low-fat vegetarian foods can protect our kids and keep the rest of the family healthy too. For a free booklet, call the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine at 1-877-685-KIDS or visit www.kidsgethealthy.org.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about pressing through those hard times where you're fearful, you have doubt in your mind. You got to get through them to get to the other side where you can live life full out. Now, our inspirational guest today is Jim Shear, and he is no stranger to needing to fight through those hard times, being born with clubfoot, and yet going on to have successes in being a quality relief pitcher for the Oakland Athletics. And the thing is, that's not easy. How did he do that? He's going to share those secrets with us, so I'd like to welcome Jim to the show.
Hi, Nancy. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Now, Jim, first of all, you are just a stud. I got to tell you, the things that you have gone through, and then to be able to go on and live your dream, that's what we all want, right? So I am going to sit here and literally be a student of yours today, because I know you have so many good lessons that you want to share with us. But I want to take our audience back a bit, because what is clubfoot? What was that you were born with?
My right foot was turned in towards my left leg. There's tendons, ligaments, there's bone issues, mostly ligaments and tendons. And what happened is I had an Achilles surgery, and I also had boots placed on my feet, and it's called the Ponseti method. But what happened is my doctor passed away, I guess, when I was around 1, and when they sent me to another doctor, he said I was fine, I didn't need anything else. And then when I was 8, my clubfoot came back, and they thought it was too late, so they needed to reconstruct my foot.
Wow. That's pretty scary for an 8-year-old. When you had those surgeries pretty much throughout your whole childhood, and you're looking at your foot, were you discouraged? Like, will my dreams come true, or do I just give up, or what's going to happen here?
Well, at that age, it really wasn't about being discouraged. You know, when you think of becoming a Major League Baseball player, it's a dream. It's not, I really wasn't taking it seriously in my head, because it just seemed like something that was just too hard to accomplish. For me, it was about how the foot and leg looked, because after the surgery, I could no longer use my calf because they fused my ankle. So I couldn't build my calf back up, and my right foot from my knee to my foot was half the size as my left. So it always looked different, and I always limped. So it was about, people seeing my leg. I would see those like secretive glances at my leg. Mm. And, people, even when I had pants on, people would ask me, are you hurt while you're limping? So it was that factor of fitting in as a kid, not really about the athleticism or how it affects me. The affecting part was later, like now in my life, where my body is breaking down because I had to overcome that leg.
Well, and the thing is as you went through life and you started to really hone your athletic skills, baseball really was your dream. It was something that you felt you could pursue. And you had to kind of figure out, how can I play this game? How can I be my best despite my disability? And what did you have to go through? What did you have to master or figure out in terms of getting your body to cooperate?
Well, it was just more about adapting, knowing that some things I could change and some things I can't. I threw very unorthodox. My mechanics weren't very good. I pulled off the ball. I used a lot of upper body and hardly any legs, because my push-off leg was my right leg, which had the club foot. So I had to adapt and try different things. And one of the reasons why I got to the big leagues is because I learned how to throw a screwball. And that pitch is very rare. No one hardly throws it. I don't even know if there's anybody in the big leagues right now that throws it. But in college, going forward, I knew I had to do something different, because I couldn't throw the normal pitches that other pitchers did. My curveball and slider, they just weren't very good, because mechanically it wasn't possible for me to put good spin on the ball consistently from how I threw, my mechanics. So I found a pitching coach, Rich Folkers, who was teaching a kid on my team how to throw it. And from that day on, I practiced it, even though it seemed like something ridiculous and no one does it, but it became the pitch that got me to the big leagues and kept me there.
Wow. And honestly, I celebrate that, because, again, when anybody's dream becomes a reality, it wasn't a snap. I mean, you really had to work for it. And what do you think the hardest jump was from being this 8-year-old boy, going through all these surgeries, kind of mastering athletics, but what did you need to have within you to really press through those hard times?
It's definitely passion. It's something that I loved, and I wasn't going to stop playing until somebody told me that I was done. So I mean, that point almost came in 1991 when I got drafted. It hurt my arm, and it never really, for 2.5 years, it didn't come back. And here's another story for, adversity and being innovative. When I went to spring training in 1994, the Seattle Mariners had this machine sitting in the clubhouse where it was just a pulley system. You put your arm that's attached to this bar, and it helps your internal-external rotation. And you just use a little wheel next to you to turn it so that, it works. And I did that every day just because I didn't know what else to do. My arm wasn't where it was, and I knew I was close to being done. But I did get a lot of flexibility in that arm that year and started throwing the ball 94 miles an hour. And it changed what the Mariners thought about me, and it changed my chances. And from there, I pretty quickly went through the ranks and went to the big leagues.
I love that you shared that story, actually, because I think so oftentimes we'll be doing something, and somebody might be really excited about it, like working out, beginning of the year, or trying to take on a hobby, but then they get discouraged halfway through because they don't see the results. And you kept pressing through, and you did get the results. Your career stayed intact and everything. And when you look at other people and they are discouraged, what do you tell them in terms of staying in there, hang in there, you can get through it?
I think for me, even throughout my whole life, not even just baseball, I think it's just moving forward. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It might not even be the right thing. It's just moving in the right direction, because I think when you're inactive and you're not doing anything, it just builds on that kind of like depression or that thought that, I'm not doing what I need to be doing. How do I do it? And the less you do, the more those feelings come about. So when you're doing something, not only does it preoccupy your mind, but I also believe that sometimes it opens a different door that you never knew was there.
And that is the most exciting thing, actually, about living life full out, right? Because you don't know about those expected moments. A relationship ends, but a new one can begin. A career stops and a new one can start. So, and you're a perfect example of that, because I know you've actually morphed into a whole new career, which we'll talk about as we come into the next segment. But as you consider your athletics, as you consider growing up with a disability, and for parents who have kids who have a disability, what quick words of wisdom do you have for them? That is something I want you to consider as we come back into the break, because I know for anybody in the audience now, sometimes when they hear other people's stories, it's inspiring, but we want to think about how do we get there. So, Jim, I would like you to stay with us. We're going to be coming right back. And for everybody listening today, it is about pressing through. And, for Jim, he had to get past having clubfoot and adapting. And for me, I'm legally blind, and I've had to have, people in my life become my eyes. So we just want to figure out in your life, what do you need? How can we give you the resources to thrive and really live your life full out? So stay with us. We'll come right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us. We'll be back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about pressing through those really hard times and what is needed, that passion, the resources, the people in our life to get through that. And our inspirational guest today, Jim Misher, is no stranger to needing to press through. Being born with clubfoot, yet going through surgeries as a child throughout his adult life, yet becoming a quality relief pitcher for so many great teams, including the Oakland Athletics. So I'd very much like to welcome Jim back to the show.
Thanks, Nancy.
Absolutely. Now, Jim, in the last segment, I was mentioning, because you have such great insight, having been a child born with clubfoot, all those surgeries, and I'm sure your parents just tried to say and do all the right things. But for parents who are listening today, or even friends or family, and somebody who has a disability and they're struggling with it, what advice do you have for them in terms of encouraging that person?
So my parents just did a phenomenal job. Number one, they were, right after the surgery, they were always on me to do the things that was necessary, that the doctor told me so I could get the most out of whatever happened during the surgery. And they never relented. There was, my dad built a boot for me that I could use to stretch my foot and my ankle. So they did a whole bunch of stuff, but I really think the biggest thing they did is nothing. They made it seem like it wasn't anything. They didn't, they just told me go out and do what you want to do. There was, the only thing I could say is they didn't like to play football because I was just too dangerous for my leg, but it was never like I had a weakness. They were just concentrated on my strengths. And so that's what I grew up doing. I knew what my weaknesses were. And if something stopped me from doing it, well, then I knew, okay, let's move on to something else and then focus on what my strengths can do.
They weren't going to baby you. They were going to just guide you and support you, which I love. And as adults, children too, but mainly as adults, we all have those days where we just wake up with negative thoughts. We're tired. It's kind of on the wrong side of the bed moment. And I know that you had that exact moment in time when you were trying to play one day. Can you share with us the elements of how hard that was for you? Where you just wanted to give up, you were not being your best friend that day.
Right, and it was, like you said, on the wrong side of the bed because it was the best year of my career. And it wasn't that I would give up, it was that I wasn't allowing my natural potential to come through because I was worrying. I had that negative voice that was telling me, you're not good enough. Because I woke up in Seattle, we were going to play the Seattle Mariners in 2000, and there's only 11 games left. We had 2 games behind those Mariners for the last playoff spot, and I was feeling a lot of pressure. And as soon as I woke up, I was thinking, my fastball's not good enough, my screwball's not doing well, the Mariners hit well, and it just kept cascading. There was just all these negative thoughts in my head, and I took them to the game with me. And pitching in that game was our best pitcher, Tim Hudson, and in the 7th inning, he had a 3-run lead, and I'm just hoping, Tim just finished this game. I didn't even want to pitch because I just felt doomed, like I was going to ruin it. I was going to wreck it. I just wasn't myself. But sure enough, I got the call to the bullpen saying, get ready just in case Tim falters, and the first 2 guys get a hit. So now I'm in the game. And I go down to the gate, and I'm jogging that mound. It seems like it's 3 miles away because I'm thinking I have to face 3 future Hall of Famers, Ricky Henderson, Alex Rodriguez, and Edgar Martinez. And that negative voice is telling me, oh, this is not good. You're not going to, how are you going to survive this? And I get to that mound, and I don't change my thoughts, and I throw to Ricky Henderson, and I throw him 3 pitches that weren't very good because what happens is when you have those negative thoughts in your head, you kind of lock up physically and mentally, and you start aiming the ball instead of attacking the zone. And I did that, but in baseball, sometimes you get lucky. Ricky Henderson hits a ground ball to third. My third baseman, Eric Chavez, throws it to Jason Giambi first. We get him out. The best base runner in the history of the game is off the base paths. Now I have second and third, but at least there's an out. And I should be ecstatic, but I'm not because I know I didn't really do anything to get Ricky Henderson out at that point, and I got to do better, or this is going to end up poorly. So the next hitter comes to the plate, and he's Mike Cameron, and he's a good hitter, but I told myself, he's not as good as A-Rod or Edgar. You better get him out. Don't walk him. You better not walk him. So what do you think happened?
You walked him.
Of course. I walked him.
Oh, man.
And now there's bases loaded, and 50,000 fans are screaming, A-Rod, A-Rod. And I don't even know what's going through my mind. I'm just like, oh, God, here we go. I get back on the mound. I'm about to pitch, but something happens. This voice inside me comes out. I was like, God, you're being a baby. Take the ball you've thrown your whole life. Throw it through the glove. Let's go. It doesn't matter if Babe Ruth comes back to life. I was a little more harsh on myself than that, but I can't say it. But I get out. Now I'm angry, right? I don't have that fear. Anger's not great to pitch with, but it's much better than fear. And my kind of mental capacity is gone now, and I'm relying on my catcher because I'm so angry. The only thought in my head is whatever he puts down, you attack the ball and throw it. So I do that with A-Rod, and then a 2-2 pitch, I threw a nasty screwball, and he flails on the dirt and strikes out. Now there's 2 outs. I'm all pumped up. Edgar comes up, and for a second, I almost lost it again. I told myself, you've got Edgar out plenty of times before, but then that voice said, he was ripped you a couple of times too. But now
nice.
I know what's going on. I'm paying attention, so I step off the mound. I start talking to myself. Just figure out you want to throw it. And then on 3-2 counted, do another screwball that Edgar swung out, missed, and then 50,000 fans were dead silent. We went on to win that game, and then we clinched the playoffs on the last day of the season. So if I couldn't control my emotions for 5 minutes, I might have blown the whole season for the team. And the thing is, I took that lesson with me the rest of my career because I had 3 more surgeries after that, and I just wasn't physically myself. So every day I do what I call the ABCs of confidence. I assess my emotions so I could deal with them. And then when I was on that mound, B, take deep breaths every time, because when we're tense and anxious, we shallow breathe, and it makes it worse. So you can loosen up your body and your mind by breathing. And then C, clear. I couldn't think of all those variables that I can't change. You know, how good the hitter is, what's the weather, what's the umpire doing. It was just what pitch do I want to throw, where to throw it. And I still use that now, because a lot of times we get caught up in stuff that we can't change or worry about, and it really affects our ability to achieve whatever we're trying to achieve.
Wow. You know, Jim, there's the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Professor Mashir is in play. You have just taught us something today that is so important, those ABCs, and we can all take that with us and apply it to our life today to press through hardship. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I know that you have now embarked on a new journey. You know, athletics were always your thing. Baseball was your life, and you had to transition, and now you're going into motivating others. And part of that, you had to do some different comedic classes in terms of improv and just kind of learn how to shoot from the hip and say things quickly and authentically. And there is kind of that element of trust, where in athletics you had to trust your teammates, and in business you have to trust your partners. Can you share with us about that?
Yes, well, that's one of the things at the company Improv Talk. That's one of the first things that we always talk about when we're talking to companies is the trust issue. You just can't go in and be individuals. You have to have that ability, and that's a big part of improv. So it's not only trust in yourself, it's also trust in others. So I know, do I have time for a quick story?
Quick story?
Because I know this story is something that has to do with trust and how it wrecks a team, so I don't know how much time you have.
You have about 1 minute. I'm on the edge of my seat. Let's do it.
All right,
you can do it?
I could fit it in time, but I'll try. So I was with
okay.
I was on a minor league team, and it was my very first year in professional baseball. I'm sitting in the stands, and I am doing a chart, and the guy next to me is on my team, and he's doing the radar gun readings for our pitchers. And about the 4th inning, I look at his readings, and he wrote down 87, 88, 89. Meanwhile, when I was watching the gun, all I saw was 90, 91, 92. So he was writing down 3 miles an hour slower, so that guy didn't look as good in the organization's eyes or any other organization. And what that guy didn't realize is he was hurting himself, because what happened is somebody started finding out what was going on. We had a problem in the clubhouse. Everybody started fighting. The cliques developed, and our team went straight downhill, and we finished last. We were even last with a month left in the season. At the end of that season, scouts come from everywhere. People are getting traded or getting called up, but they're not going to the teams that are poor. They're going to the good teams because they figure that's where the better players are. So that pitcher that cheated actually made it worse for himself by not allowing scouts to see him. So it really is one of the things that we always teach is if you can't be a great player on a bad team because no one cares. But if you're a great team, then everybody gets recognized.
You know what? I love that. I'm so glad that you shared that story with us, because that is important. And, you know, I shared earlier today that pressing through a hard time in life is not just one person on their own. It takes a village to help one person out and to all be together. And as we close up today's interview, Jim, I want to thank you so much for being on. Those ABCs I'm going to take with me in all of your stories. And today's topic has been pressing through. We got 30 seconds or so, but I would love to hear your one last piece of advice for our listeners on pressing through the hard times.
I'm sorry, Nancy, I didn't hear the last part.
Oh, just last piece of advice or pressing through the hard times for our listeners. What would you say? Last piece of advice.
I have to always go back to move forward. It doesn't matter. You can't be inactive. Once you're inactive, then you're done. You have to move forward. So just do anything. You're always going to have hard times. It's not like you beat that hard time and you're in the clear. Something else is always going to come. So you just have to be resilient and move forward at all times.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And Jim, thank you so much for being on the show today. And we wish you all the best with your business endeavors that you're doing now. And you've been a treasured mentor to so many over the years as a pitcher. So thank you so much for being on today's show.
Thanks, Nancy. I appreciate it. And if you ever want to call back for round 3, that's fine with me.
Y'all, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.
All right, you too, Nancy.
And for everybody listening today, it is about pressing through. You know, Jim, myself, none of us have it, completely figured out. It takes a lifetime to adjust, to build a support team, to figure out what are those ABCs in our own life that we have to get through. So it's about just assessing your life, figuring out where you are today and where you want to go. And knowing, like Jim said, you just have to keep pressing forward. We'll come right back talking more about pressing through. Stay with us. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay right with us.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment. Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Mom, what? Huh? What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath. You can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearms storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What
What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When you consider pressing through a hard time in your life, it's important to assess your emotions. What are you feeling right now? What are your concerns? What are your hopes? Then you want to go into action. You want to think about what time do you need, what people, what resources. And when you live full out, you put all that in play, and then you're not alone. You're pressing through.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about pressing through life and just experiencing all the joy that comes with that, and then telling all the negativity to get out of the way because good times are about to happen. You got to press through and figure out that determination, that intensity, and let that be the guide in getting where you want to go in life. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for calling in. How can we help you today?
I had a question on personal life.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and what is your question? How can I help you?
My question was, in a generation where success is measured by relationship, constant fast track, I'm not doing the most I can do.
So do you feel as though you are comparing yourself to other people, like the competitive side is just kind of gobbling you up?
Yeah, definitely. Especially with my school major that I'm pursuing. It's kind of hard to not compare myself, especially with the age that I'm at.
And what is that major, just so I know?
It's biotechnology. So basically like the firefighting service. It becomes a whole thing where it's an age group of like 18 to 30-year-olds just competing, trying to have a better resume than the other person.
Mm-hmm. You know. The thing is that the competition. I'm going to give you the good news and the bad news. Okay.
Okay.
The good news is that the skills and talents that you have are signature to you. Okay, that's the good news. Okay, because no one can be you. You are a unique individual with the way that your mind thinks, the way that your body works, and all of that. The bad news is there's always going to be competition. Okay?
Yeah.
But again, you have to decide in your life, are you going to go into class, work, a relationship, thinking that you are a small fish in a big pond? Or are you going to go into it saying, you know what, I'm a big fish in a small pond, right? You got to have that mindset. And when you have that mindset, and then you couple that with, okay, and yes, I might do certain amount of things similar to other people, but what's signature about me is what? So you got to think about what is that signature, unique qualities that you have. So if I was going to ask you for one quality that you feel that you have an edge on other people, what is it?
I think one quality that I could kind of just point out in myself that I don't see a lot of other people having is just communication skills.
Okay, and tell me specifically in what way are your communication skills a little bit stronger?
Yeah, just like being the one, like kind of a person to always try sticking myself out, but not in a like cocky way, but it's kind of like by an example, like lead by example instead of like a big mouth in a sense.
Perfect. And you know what? That's a great quality. Give me one more quality. What's one more signature quality that you have that maybe not everybody has?
I would like, honestly, like I would say, not trying to be like cocky myself, but just how I like to persevere through things. Like I know I'm the type of I'm like a type to try wanting to push through it the whole time.
Okay, you're pushing through it, right? That's actually our theme for today's show. The thing is I could play this game with you for an hour, and I bet you would come up with a list of 10 things that make you amazing. So you just have to believe in those same 10 things. And it's not, in your words, being cocky. It's being confident and giving to people, leading by example. But if you do that, you will press through any competition because it won't even be there. You're just being you. You know nothing different. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's the mindset I want you to have beyond today. But thank you so much for calling into the show.
Oh, no, thank you so much for the advice. Honestly, it's hard sometimes kind of finding that thin line between, like, cocky and confident. And, I've always been the type to not really see myself as, like, a confident
But you know what? You will do it. You will do it. And the thing is you're on the right track. So thank you for calling in. And for everybody listening today, it's really just about that confidence, right? He said it perfectly. To press through, you need that. Yet being authentic, being true to ourselves. Just like Jim Bashir said, it's about just keep going, moving forward. But I promise all of you, if you do that, it's not to say that the hardships will just melt away. You got to muscle through it. But it's about getting to the other side. I want to thank everybody listening today. Our entire Living Full Out family is dedicated each week to supporting you and giving you those action steps. So I look forward to seeing you on the next show. Most of all, remember, it's all about living life full out, putting yourself out there. See you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, Living Full Out.